Hi, I'm Andrea Klim, and you are watching Turn to the Stars. And today is the last day of June, and June 30th of 2015. And it is actually going to be my last broadcast here at Manchester Public Television Station. I've been here since 2009, and I have had the most wonderful experience being here. I've grown with the station, moved with the station, so very, very important piece of my life, and a lot of wonderful experiences have been had here. And with that said, I have a picture I'd like to put on the screen as I begin the show, which is a huge, big thank you to Manchester Public Television Station for 6 years of broadcasting my TV show, Turn to the Stars, and on Channel 23. It's just been a wonderful, heavenly experience, and I just want to really say thank you because the people involved, Joe Lair, Jason Cody, Brendan McCormick, and John McNeil, have been just the most supportive and helpful and educating me in every part and process of this whole experience. And you know, at Turn to the Stars, you hear me say every week, turn to the stars and you'll find your answers there. That's what this show is about. It is about the system that surrounds us. It is about the life that we live. It is real. So I don't like fake. I like real. I like to live in this real world and experience every little piece of that. And I hope that comes out in Turn to the Stars because, I'm going to be taking a month off in order to reorganize, and the TV show is then going to be broadcast or recorded at Derry TV, Derry, New Hampshire. But we're so excited to say that Manchester is going to continue to carry the show. So we're so excited about this progress. And today's show, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, is called Cancer New Moon. And that is the new moon that we're going to be having here, experiencing. This energy is already coming in because of the quickening of our solar system. And so that energy is already coming in. And I have a chart that I want to show you on the screen, which is a chart of this new moon. And as you saw, the title, the topic of today's show is the Cancer New Moon. Cancer is the nurturer, the mother, the caregiver, the domestic one, the one who cares for her family. So this energy of mothering, of caring, of nurturing, I've experienced here at Manchester Television Station. And that is what everyone in the world is about, the family, the domestic family, and how we nurture our children. It is about our roots of our being, the tribes, the communities, the families that we come from at our roots. And this chart, I'm going to put it back up on the screen again. Astrology, the ultimate tool of nurturance. That's how I see astrology. It is the language of the heavens. It is the perfect science. It is a world that surrounds us. And what you see in this chart, highlighted in blue, is the new moon in Cancer. And that new moon in Cancer is exactly at 23 degrees in that constellation. And it is in a part of the chart which is about having fun with your family, fun with those people you call family, and for them to recognize you as much as you recognize them, for you to protect them, for you to care for them, and them to care for you. It goes both ways because you see the red line that opposes Pluto. That opposition says that we either come together or we pull apart. This is either a storm or this is a coming together of peace and the structure of things changing in our families and in our individual lives with our children. And so we also see that we have Mars in that blue shaded area. And we also see Mercury, the planet of communication. Mars is the planet of action and activity. And what we see going on, we see a red line that shoots out to the left on the bottom to, I'd say that's about 7 o'clock, around 7 o'clock. You see the planet Uranus there. And that planet Uranus we've deemed in my astrology classes as crazy pants, because crazy energy. There's this unbelievable crazy stuff that's going on that is either going to awaken us or it's going to bring out that primal side of our humanness. And sometimes, that primal side teaches us how to survive. But what my point is on this new moon with this new theme is that we all are going to be brought to a place of guidance to take a profound change of direction. It can be really hard and challenging, or it can be one that we realize that we have to be just like the jellyfish, sort of float with the waves and the currents. Cancer is a water sign. So it talks about the ocean. It talks about the waters. It talks about emotion and feeling. And expression. People's expressions, very important that we acknowledge their personal expressions. And Uranus there, with that square, that's what I call a square to Uranus. And so it's very important that we let go, let it be. You heard me talk about this on the new moon back in June. It's so important that we let it be, that we listen, that we acknowledge other people for who they are. And, one of the really wonderful things that I see happening on this new moon is, if you could put that chart back on the screen one more time, the new moon chart. John, we have there we go. That's it. And the very top, right about 12 o'clock, we see Saturn in Scorpio. And Saturn in Scorpio is actually in a retrograde motion at this time, but it is trining, meaning that there's this incredible relief that is ours to be had if we can allow and accept that there are going to be experiences that we need to take responsibility for our stuff. Meaning, there's these old ghosts that seem to be returning to our consciousness, memories of old things. There's also, the movie 50 Shades of Grey. Christian Grey, the main character in this movie, is haunted by his past. His father, I believe, was probably a man who was what we would call in modern day society a pimp, and his mother was raped, and that's how he was conceived. She was a prostitute, and he was the product of that. And so he had all these ghosts inside him, even though he had this incredible desire to survive and succeed. And so that his will was incredible. And you also see that with this Saturn in Scorpio, the people that are grieving over the past and their ghosts from the past, and the people that are working so hard to help others, to nurture them in their grief, in their times of grief. I see this so much in women. I also see it in men. And it's hard, though, with the men, because they're really learning how to balance their emotions and their feelings. So that's kind of just a little overview of the universal chart. And one thing I want to talk about on today's show to keep moving forward is, and this is proven scientifically in Science magazine, there's an article exactly on this topic. Astrology is the language of the planets. Astronomy is the actual study. They are one and the same. They are not different. They are the same. And so anyway, my point here is that there is, at this time, if you look in Science magazine, you will see the proof. There is a system that is moving into place right beside us. Stephen Hawking talked about this, and he still continues to talk about this. He's a physicist, an English physicist, who has ALS. You see The Theory of Everything out in the movie theater. It's on DVD for rent now. If you get a chance to watch it, it is an incredible true story of a brilliant, brilliant man. And he talks exactly about what I'm talking about right now. This system is moving into place, sort of like a train. When you have two trains that are on the same track, this system is moving in right beside our solar system. I call it the Libra system, meaning that it's going to connect with us. It is going to, almost like when you see currents of electricity between one particular item and another particular item, it's almost like we're going to be plugged into, and it's going to save our race from being from that primal side of us that is in need of nurturance and care. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to light today in today's show. And it's because of this system that's moving into place that we will survive, that we will live on, and we will discover peace and harmony and grace and the ability to negotiate and hear our friends rather than fight with them, and to be able to express ourselves and be more balanced in our lives. I have a really cute little video that I took. I was away last week up in Munsonville, Vermont. And there it is. The father goose was really upset because my little Jack Russell was disturbing him, and he was a little concerned. We were on a dock. And this is the way the family should be. And I'm not sure if you heard me say during the video, but the father goose, this is like early morning, and we were staying in a little cottage on Granite Lake, which I have a picture of. I'm going to show you right now. Granite Lake in Munsonville, Vermont is the most beautiful lake. The water, this is early morning. I usually wake up with the sun, and I take my little Jack Russell for a walk. And this is what I see. And my phone is overfilled with pictures. I had to empty it. But anyway, those geese were out, and we walked out on the dock, and I guess they felt a little threatened by Bunny because she was really intently watching them. And the daddy goose was saying, no, 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 no. These are my babies. This is my family. I'm going to protect them. So I wanted to share that with you. And, more on nurturance and care. Traditionally in culture, I have a picture I'm going to show you of Mother Mary, a statue of Mother Mary. And it's the next picture I have in line. And that picture, there she is, Mother Mary. And in Greek, we call her Mana. Mana is the name in Greek for mother. And Cancer is the sign of the mother. That is the new moon we have coming on July 15th. The energy of nurturing those that we care about, and even people that we don't even know. If you see somebody walking down the road and they need a little help, walk over and help them. We're all humans. None of us are different than each other. And so that picture of Mother Mary, I saw on my walk that morning on June 23rd. And what I also saw was this picture of a sweat lodge that I'm going to show you. And this is an actual Native American sweat lodge, which is in Munsonville, Vermont. And what happens, and this is a perfectly built one by Native Americans. I actually ran down onto this retreat land to take a picture of this. And shamanic practices, sacred arts, what happens in these sweat lodges is humans and earth healing occurs, meaning that mothers, I would call this a Mother Earth house for nurturing and releasing the shadows of our beingness, meaning the things that we suffer from, that we carry on, that we pass on to our children. A sweat lodge is the Native Americans' way of releasing those, you might want to say demons, those ghosts, those things that we carry that we don't need to carry, because when we continue to carry shadows, we suffer over and over and over and over again, and we don't need to. Shadows from the past, ghosts from the past, and they live on because we allow them to live on. But a sweat lodge like that is something that is a very old practice in the Native American culture. And they were the people who were connected with the earth. They are still the people that are connected with the earth. And in my studies and the lineage of my education with shamanic practices, or as I've been told, is also called sacred arts. I was taught by Julianne Santini at Living Light here in Bedford, New Hampshire, almost 6 years ago. I studied with her intensively for a year. And astrology, I've been in that practice for 17 and a half years. But these are all different things that nurture us and care for us, which is the theme of this new moon on July 15th. And, you know, Cancer is symbolically seen as the crab. When you look at a picture of the symbol of the energy of Cancer, you see a crab, and it's sort of like there's these two little eyes looking at you, and the symbol is actually, can I put the chart for the new moon, which is the first one in the line, John, back on, there we go. If you can see down in the right hand corner, the symbol for Cancer, it looks like two nines turned on their side, and there's two little eyes, and looks like the Cancer, the crab. And a crab is a a little creature that lives inside its shell. When it gets scared, if it gets frightened, it pulls in, because its security comes from feeling safe inside that hard shell. So Cancer people, or people that have Cancer energy, behave very similar to the crab. When they get scared, when they feel threatened, they withdraw. They'll often joke and make jokes it's their way of surviving. And if they're uncomfortable, you'll see them do this, like the crab, kind of going back and forth. I don't want to talk about that. Let's change the subject. Let's do something different. It's kind of cute to see. I have a lot of Cancer energy. My mother had a lot of Cancer energy. And I do also want to dedicate this show to my mother. My mother's name was Juanita. And her original name was Native American, because I am sixth generation Abenaki Native American. And her given name by her mother was Juanita, W-A-N-I-T-A, Boucher. And she later married my father, Jude Thibault, or Thibault. And my mother's lineage, my daughter actually traced that back to Papin. Papin was the name of a native squaw who married a Frenchman 6 generations back in my family. So I do want to dedicate this show to my mother. I want to dedicate it to my mother-in-law, who was Helen Clem. Els was her maiden name, who passed away 2 years ago. My mother passed away in 1996, but her spirit lives on. And so does my mother-in-law's wonderful lady. I also want to dedicate this show to June Schlack, my ex-mother-in-law, who I learned so much from, who passed away a couple years ago. I also want to dedicate this show to Janice Cromack, someone who had a big impact on my life, who I learned a lot from. And I also want to dedicate this show to all my friends down in Massachusetts who nurtured me and cared for me during a time that my family wasn't there for me. They were my family. And Manchester TV has been my family for 6 years, a part of my family. And Turn to the Stars are psychic and holistic fairs. That is my way of expanding and extending what I feel inside to the community. And the intention of those fairs, our next one that's coming up is July 18th, and that is going to be at the Yard Restaurant, July 18th, Saturday from 10 to 4. And the theme of this fair is called Take Care That You Be Well. And my daughter's Latin teacher taught me how to say that in Latin, and it is said, Cura ut valias. Take care that you be well. And these themes of these fairs are very special because they come from my intuitive guidance from 13 different spiritual teachers that that work through me. And I pass that on to you. So what I do here comes from my heart, and I do want to say that the nurturers, the caregivers, the doctors, the nurses, the healthcare practitioners, the psychologists, all those people that come into our lives to help us and nurture us, especially the mothers, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers. They're so important to all of us. I want to thank my sister Denise for the nurturance and care that she carries on, that my mother was somebody who I really knew, I know more in spirit than I knew when she was alive, because she had a very difficult life and passed away at 55 years old. And but I know her now more in spirit because she's free from the ghosts of her past. And I also want to say thank you to my aunt, Matonana, who was a great nurturer and caregiver in my life growing up, and my brother John, who is also a great nurturer and caregiver. These are all the people that really are important to me. And I have a lot of really great friends. A best friend, Sarah Barr, who is a great nurturing caregiver. I keep telling her that over and over. And also to my cousin Francesca Rubenstein. She is also, she doesn't know it, but I don't know if she knows it or not, but she has this incredible way of just being there at the right time. And as our family is going through a lot of changes right now, so family, 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 nurture, nurture, nurture. That's what this month coming up from July 15th through about the middle of August is going to bring a growing light of experience. Your life will be filled with lots of incredible, wonderful family experiences. And just let it be. You know, like the song by the Beatles, Let It Be. Just let things be. Don't try to control them. Don't try to change them. Try to sit there and just listen. Instead of saying, let me fix that for you. Let me change that for you. How about, you know, let's just be here together. Let's listen to the beautiful sounds of nature. Let's hear the stories of your life. Let's see how that all plays together. So, you know, the Cancer is the main topic of this next month. And the United States of America was actually birthed in 1776 on July 4th. And I do have to say, during my last broadcast here at MPTS, Manchester Public Television Station, happy birthday to America. We are so lucky here in this country to be nurtured and cared for and protected as we are. That is the energy that this United States of America was built on. Caring, mothering, nurturing, but there's also in that whole Cancerian energy, there's a lot of secrets and a lot of things that have been protected. Cancer is the great protector. You know, and not all of it, probably you would not say the best, but you know, sometimes we don't know all the answers. And we don't know why people don't tell us the whole truth. We don't always know that, but it's often, there's many times it's for our own good. It's because they're trying to protect us emotionally. They're trying to care for us and make sure that our feelings aren't hurt. So that is also the Cancer energy. And, you know, I try to think about what I can tell you about Cancer that might make your life a little bit easier. And I think that what I would say is if I could put that chart up one more time of the new moon on the screen. If you look over to the right of that chart, you see the planet Venus, I'd say about 3 o'clock. It's kind of off the screen a little bit, but Venus is in the constellation of Leo. And right beside it is Jupiter in the constellation of Leo. Leo is the heart. Leo is expression. Leo is fixed and strong and the spiritual warrior. And if you take your finger and you go up to the very top of the chart to Saturn, that is what we call a fixed square. And Saturn is the planet of responsibility and structure. In the sign of Scorpio, we have a fixed square from Venus to Saturn here. This is not easy. This means that there is a lot going on that people are having a hard time accepting that this could be part of me. I can't imagine that I would have that inside of me. So my recommendation, my way of dealing with this, the best thing I can tell you is to accept that you are human. Forgive whatever is going on in your life. Forgive yourself. Most importantly, this is what we call a fixed T-square. Not easy. It means there's a lot from the past that is coming to the surface to be healed. People are grieving, and people are in a place of incredible change. So understand, take responsibility for yourself, but be careful about taking on things that don't belong to you. Very, very important, because you don't want to break your ankle. I did that. It's no fun. And that was about taking responsibilities for other people, things that weren't mine. So anyway, everyone in Manchester, I continue to be excited about being able to talk to you every week through Turn to the Stars. And as always, turn to the stars and you will find your answers there. That is the basis of what I do. The answers are all in the stars, and the sun is the heart, the life force, and all the planets revolve around it in a cyclical motion, just like the human DNA. And so everyone, thank you for all your continued support. I hope I see you all at the July 18th fair. Take care, that you be well. Turn to the stars, you'll find your answers there. I'll see you next week. Take good care.